I'm Blake Walton.
And I'm Annie Morrison.
Last year we were privileged to be part of the United Solo Festival in New York City with two selections, both plays written by Annie Morrison. One was Linda Lovely Goes to Broadway and the other was Trevor's Fire. Annie performed Linda Lovely and I performed Trevor's Fire, and we were welcomed with open arms to a very warm community of the Solo Festival.
They became our family.
They did. And from now on, we were asked to be part of the United Solo Academy, which means that we can look around the United States and find other solo plays and recommend them to the festival. We can vote in the festival itself and see all of the plays that are
And both pieces have been published in indie theater now.
It was excellent. And we both won awards last year at the closing ceremonies. Annie won the award for the Best Actress.
And Blake won the award for
But
Best
now,
Premiere. Because of this love and passion we have for solo plays, Blake and I decided to actually form a company called God of Van Productions, with the idea that perhaps we can actually travel more, go to other cities and other countries, presenting solo plays that we create and direct with each other and other people's as well.
And together with David Coyle, who's become our company manager and sort of the person guiding us along the way, and truly a part of physically of everything we're doing. First project for God of Van Productions is the 2013 United Solo Festival. We are both now have been selected to be
I wrote
part
a
of
play that was very interestingly personal that I didn't think was going to play out the way it played out.
And you call that what?
I call it word painting, soliloquies around an
I'm working
easel.
on something really exciting for me this year. It's a piece that I put together because I had been a model over at the Ringling College of Art Design for about 4 or 5
Stands
years.
like a praying mantis. Imagine tall, tan brushes gathered in a vase. Tubes of okra, alizarin, cobalt lie patiently near a wooden pallet caked with yesterday's creations. Scattered copies dot the room in silhouette. In the corner, rectangles huddle one against the other. An empty chair sits in the middle like a little H upon a barren stage, preparing for an artful drape and a weight it must endure. Word painting, soliloquies around an easel. Excuse me. Yeah, are you the monitor for this class? Ah, okay. Is this a gesture or a long pose? Long. Good.
And sitting sometimes nude, sometimes draped, my mind is a monkey mind and would go all over the place, exploring universes and going over lines and poetry and songs and trying to understand the daily ins and outs of life at rapid pace. And while I was sitting there, I often would look over out at the students and wonder what was going in the mind of my mother back in 1942 when she was a student at the Chicago Art Institute. And I sat down and started writing a monologue about the monkey mind of the model, finding it kind of interesting and fun and comical. And then I wanted to write the perspective of an art student. And I interviewed over the 4 years many art students and teachers. And they basically do not think the same way as I do, and I found it quite delicious and entertaining. So I thought, gee, what would my mom be thinking in 1942? And as I began to write that piece, it became a dance. it became poetry. The next piece, I discovered I wanted to see what the art had to say, and found that very entertaining, that most artists avoid that question at all costs. But I got the answer to that by looking at my mom's art and looking through her poetry. And the next thing I knew, I was weaving her poetry, my poetry, to explain a piece of art. And in that process, I was curious about the mind of the critic, because they're pretty comical in themselves. And we decided to put everybody in a different world, since time is all kind of happening at once, simultaneous moment kind of thing. So I put the model in 2012. I put the art student in 1942, tribute to my mother. I put the art speaking in 2042, and then in 1912 I put the thoughts of a critic. It was an interesting journey. In the process, I learned some very beautiful things about our creative selves and our mysteries, and where the clues of the mysteries really are. In the asking of a question, the answer is right there. It has been a beautiful, heartfelt journey for me, and I think it's going to be surprisingly universal.
And I wrote my first solo play for myself to perform.
And what was that called?
It's called Leading Men. About 6 months ago, I sat down, actually a year ago. I was thinking about a project that I wanted to write. And I was mulling around this rant in my head about manhood and what I was hearing daily about what it is to be a man. And so I set out to write this piece about manhood in this society, and especially approaching it as a gay man in this society. I am a man. I have always been a man, a real man. I think like a man, love like a man, come and go like a man, yes, piss and fart and burp like a man. Do not ever not call me a real man again! So goes the rant in my active, sometimes radical, usually sweet, also tasteless, can be tactless mind. The rant might derive from the side I call dark Blake, when Blake White is resting, or more often preoccupied with something shiny. This is not a personality split. Oh no, I am a sane being. It speaks more to a propriety split that comes with such questions to myself as, can I really say this out loud? Will it offend or hurt? Won't it just go away if nothing is said? I'm saddled by being too English. No spice. My family are Mayflower, both ties. Reaching farther back, there is little old Saxon in my Anglo even. No, we were Britons. Hell, my family goes back to the royalty of Plantagenet. Well, there is that, with all the inbreeding that the royals provided and that sort of fun. But I just longed all of my young life for some flavor to run through my blood, some zest, color, seasoning, pizzazz. Maybe everyone wonders how it would be. The grass is greener on the other side, if only. Not that I would have wanted to change my life. A life that is longer than most people suspect from my appearance, or even many of the details. Because this road has led me to a gifted existence, full of love, and mostly goodness. Became a play about fatherhood. As I told the tale of my relationship with my father, which is a beautiful relationship, an evolving relationship. And beautiful because it came from rejection and growing into an incredible acceptance and admiration. And I realized that I learned about being a father from my absent father, because I vowed to become the father that I never had. So I became a pretty good father to my son. But then I realized that we all learn from each other. And when I started being the wise mentor to my father, I looked to my son to get the same kind of wisdom. And I realized our roles become reversed at some point in our lives. We start learning from it's called Leading Men because it's about the three leading men in my life and my life movie. It's my father, my son, and myself. In my life movie, it's about how I learned to lead men, how my father learned to lead men, my son learned to lead men, and how we've all played leading men on stage, and theater plays a big part of this. The result of writing this was unexpected. There was a great empowerment for me because I was telling the truth. I learned that in the truth, there's no wrong, and there is a kind of forgiveness for things that you think were wrong in your life, or were slights, or harm, or hurt. And I realized I was a pretty sane being, that I was really quite healthy in my outlook. And I get to define manhood and my great belief and knowledge about what it is to be a man in this society, a real man.